Let me tell you, there's a revolution brewing in the Python world. It's all centered around one single tool that could completely change the way you write code forever. If you're a Python developer, pay close attention, because what you're about to see, it's probably going to be your new normal.
Now, that is a bold claim, right? But I promise you it's not an exaggeration. We're about to dive into a tool that just completely rethinks the entire structure of Python projects. And it simplifies a process that, let's be honest, has been notoriously clunky for years.
So if you've ever worked in the JavaScript ecosystem, you know how powerful and unified their toolchain is, all centered around that one package.json file. Now just imagine that same level of simplicity, that same elegance, but for Python? Well, you don't have to imagine anymore. It's here.
Okay, so first things first, let's talk about how we've been doing things for years. If you've ever kicked off a Python project, you know the ritual I'm talking about. It's that familiar, multi-step dance we've all had to memorize.
You know this dance. First, you make a directory. Then you initialize a virtual environment. You have to remember to activate it. Then you install your packages. And then, if you're being good, you remember to freeze all those dependencies into a requirements.txt file. We all do it, but is it efficient? Not really.
The old way just forces you to juggle so many different tools and commands. You're constantly creating and activating environments, all while trying to manually keep track of your dependencies. It's just tedious, and it gets in the way of what we actually want to do, which is, write code. And this, my friends, brings us to the hero of our story, a new tool called UV. It's built from the ground up to be the modern, all-in-one solution that Python developers have been dreaming of.
So what in the world is UV? Well, it's a single, lightning-fast tool that's here to replace a whole bunch of older ones like pip and VF. It's written in Rust, which makes it incredibly fast, but its real magic is how it simplifies absolutely everything into one unified system.
So, how does this actually change things on the ground? Let's walk through the new workflow for managing a full-scale Python project. This is where you're really going to see the night and day difference.
Forget all those manual setup steps. Starting a new project is now one single, intuitive command. You just tell UV to initialize a project, and it takes care of everything for you.
And with just that one command, you get a complete, modern project structure right out of the box. You get a pyproject.toml file, which you can just think of as Python's version of package.json, and you get a UV lock file, which makes sure your builds are always reproducible. It's beautiful.
Okay, need to add a package? It's just as simple. The UV add command goes and fetches the package, installs it, and, this is the crucial part, it automatically updates your project's main configuration file.
And here's the result. Just like npm install, the add command automatically updates your pyproject.toml. This file is now the single source of truth for all of your project's dependencies. You never have to manually run pip freeze again. Ever.
And now for my favorite part. To actually run your code, you just type UV run. That's it. Wait, did you notice what's missing? There's no source.venv/bin/activate. You never have to activate a virtual environment again.
This right here is the secret sauce. The very first time you run a command, UV just automatically creates and manages a virtual environment for you, completely in the background. It's always there when you need it, but you never have to think about it. You can just focus on your code.
But hey, what about those times when you aren't building some huge project? What if you just want to run a single, standalone Python script with a few dependencies? Well, UV has a super elegant solution for that too.
UV gives you two really powerful options here. On the left, you've got the ad hoc method. You can use the -with flag to provide temporary dependencies just for a single run. But check out the one on the right, because this is something truly special. You can actually embed the dependencies directly into the script file itself.
Will you look at this? When you run UV add on a script, it literally inserts this special comment block right at the top of your file. This block lists all the packages that the script needs to run, which makes your script completely self-contained and super easy to share.
So once those dependencies are embedded in the file, anyone can run your script with a single, simple UV run command. UV will automatically read those comments, create a temporary environment with the right packages, and execute the code. It's just a brilliant way to share scripts.
Okay, so let's put all of this together. What does the rise of a tool like UV really mean for the future of Python development? Why is this such a big deal?
Well, it all comes down to these 4 huge advantages. First, speed. It's incredibly fast. Second, simplicity.
You have one tool and one configuration file to manage everything. Third, it brings a much-needed standardization to the Python ecosystem. And finally, and maybe most importantly, it lets you focus on what matters, writing code, not wrestling with environments.
As one developer put it so well, UV just provides a systematic way to organize things that is so compelling it feels inevitable. That combination of speed, simplicity, and raw power is a genuine game changer for the entire Python ecosystem.
And all of this brings us to one final, provocative question. With a tool this powerful and this elegant, are we actually witnessing the end of VNV as we know it? It's a big question for sure, but one thing seems pretty clear. The future of Python development is already here, and it looks a whole lot like UV.